All right, welcome into this case study deep dive with a really smart business owner, number one. Number two, one who has set up such a unique system for how she's earning money through her online education-based business. I'm excited to connect with Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you and I have done this for, oh gosh, it's been at least 6 months since we started
Yeah.
working on the finances.
Yeah.
And today's all about helping someone who might be running an education business look at, what are the financial challenges that someone might be facing? How have we tried to solve them together? And what's it been like as we've gone through this process in CEO Finance Academy? Will you give people just a brief look at what type of business you run? And then what were the challenges that you were looking at early on from a financial standpoint before we started working together?
Yeah. So my business teaches communication skills to kids around the world, primarily through speech and debate. And it's a completely virtual business. So I have a lot of experience in marketing and communications, growing, running a business, leadership, things like that. Very, very little experience on the financial side of a business. I've always been a part of it, but just on the outskirts, never really diving into it. I only found out what a P&L was probably a couple of years ago. I used to think it was P&L instead of P&L. So very, very new to that side of running a business, and definitely has been the biggest struggle for me.
Yeah, we find, and this was the same for us because we came from a marketing background as well. We found that we felt like, and a lot of our clients, when we were doing the marketing side of business, felt like I can just out market my financial problem. So I can just go sell more. Have you found
Right.
yourself hoping that that was the case in the past? Or what was it that ultimately made you feel like, oh, I actually do need to address finances. I can't just go try to sell more to solve it?
Well, when I started this business, it was kind of my side hustle. So I wasn't too concerned about it. As long as I was not losing money, I was kind of like, okay, this works. But then as it grew much more than I expected and much more quickly. And I started looking at it as becoming my solo gig, my one and only. I realized that I really had to have some security around the numbers in the business in order to make that happen.
Yeah. So I'm curious, as we started together, what were some of the concerns that you had around your finances that you wanted to solve?
I really had no clue what was going on. I just had a Google sheet. Basically, at the end of each month, I would look at what was in the account after paying my different teachers and just dump all the money into my account and thought, okay, this is great. Until that tax bill rolls around and then it's not so great. But yeah, that was, I didn't know where to begin really, besides just tracking what I'm making, what I'm paying out. Then I have my, profit. Other than that, that was it. How much should I save for taxes? How much should I save for growth funds? I didn't have any kind of security blanket in the business. Hadn't even thought about that. So really just having no clue where to begin with any of it.
Yeah. So it's often scary to open up to someone and talk about this. All right. This is not something that as entrepreneurs we're used to talking about, right? We're used to sharing our sales numbers, our marketing numbers, and we almost never share financial numbers. What was the experience like for you getting into CEO Finance Academy early on? Were you nervous to bring up those conversations and have, frank conversations about business finances?
I wouldn't say I was nervous. I really desperately wanted the help. So I was really excited to get support with it. And from the get-go, working with you all has been extremely, I don't want to say laid back. We get stuff done, but it is very nice, casual conversation, casual working relationship. So I've always felt really comfortable throughout the whole process.
Yeah. Well, we like hearing that. And I think a lot of that comes from our experiences, healthcare providers, right? Where we're in situations with patients in the past. It's like, hey, how do we talk about things that might be sensitive otherwise and not make it a
Mhm.
big deal, which is really how we have to deal with finances.
Right.
So for someone who is looking at CEO Finance Academy, it's like, well, what is the experience actually like? How would you describe it with the actual experience of what do we do together and what's it like on your side of the table?
Yeah, I have been extremely impressed with everything of how the program is run, and I've recommended it to many colleagues of mine. I think we got in, we immediately started getting stuff done. From the very first meeting, had a better grasp on my numbers. I don't work very well with programs. I've bought many of them that you just do at your own pace, never end up going through it or finishing it. Now there are additional resources, additional recordings and education that I can get through CEO Finance Academy, but especially the live meetings are exceptionally beneficial to me. I really like how in the beginning you were kind of you've been guiding me all along, but you took the reins in the beginning. And then little by little, as we met, it was more and more of me taking those same steps that you had shown me how to do, which is a really great way to learn because you're teaching and then I'm doing it and we're doing it repeatedly. So for me, I think it's been a really great mix of the live interactions, but also having the support of the recordings. If I want to go back and watch something again, or I missed something, or just there's additional resources in there. So if somebody else is like me and they really kind of need hand holding to get it done and to really sit down and make it happen, then I would say this is definitely the platform.
Have you ever bought a course and not finished it? Or
Oh,
are you the
yes.
type of person that sometimes occasionally something slips through the cracks? It's like, oh, I didn't actually finish that.
Yes, I have one in particular about setting up systems in my business, and I bought it partially because a little bit of it was like about finances, not a whole lot, but a tiny bit. I haven't even, and I've owned that course for now probably 2 years, and I haven't even watched the first video, which is sad to say, but there was no urgency to it. Whereas when you have a meeting with somebody, you're there, you're gonna get it done. So for me, that really makes a big difference.
Cool. Do you feel like you actually completed the stuff that you set out to do when you started with CEO Finance Academy?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. So with that said, what now is different about your business or about how you handle financials versus when we started?
Oh my goodness, everything. Everything is different. I feel comfortable. Each month I don't stress about it. I know my numbers. I know what to expect. I know what I can afford to pay myself. I have money in the account for a rainy day fund in my business, which is so important. Learned how to save appropriately for taxes. So crucial. Overall, I have a solid understanding of it that I didn't have at all, but also just the sense of security now in having that knowledge.
And now you've made the transition through, I think right when we started, you were kind of contemplating if you're going to go all in on the business.
Yeah.
How do you feel like what we've done together prepared you to go all in and make this your sole income source?
I don't think I would have done it had we not worked together on this. I don't think I would have ever felt confident enough that I could make a living for myself out of this other business, even though I could, the numbers were there, but I didn't know and wasn't confident in it.
Yeah. And so maybe this will be the final question. What do you feel like the ROI has been on your time in CEO Finance Academy? We get asked that a lot, and it's often hard for me to quantify. I'm curious, in your words, what do you feel like the ROI has been for you as an owner?
I think it was worth every penny and then some, honestly. This being my side gig, I didn't really invest any money into it, getting it started. I had a unique situation where my business just kind of worked. I just really got lucky in that regard. And so investing money in myself and in the business was a really scary decision. That was really hard for me to do. And from the get-go, after the very first meeting, I was like, nope, this is a great decision. Glad I did this, and definitely feel that way. I like I said, I recommended CEO Finance Academy to many of my colleagues and will continue to do so.
Awesome. Well, Elizabeth, thank you so much. This is super nice of you to take time out of your busy day to do this. If someone's interested in your business, where can they find out about you and what you do? Because you also have some really cool stuff that if someone is a parent, they should really probably be listening to what you do anyway. But I know that as content creators and course creators, we all like to see, hey, what are other people doing and how are they making it work? Where can people find out about you and what you do?
Yeah, our website is greencommunicationsedu.com. That's where you can find our course and camp information. We also have some freebies on there for parents who are trying to instill strong communication skills in their kids from home. And we have a brand new podcast called Speak Out, Stand Out. You can find that anywhere on podcast providers. And again, the whole goal is to help increase our kids' communication skills from the start.
Love it. Elizabeth, thank you so much. And I also just have to give you kudos. You mentioned that we have, good setup and stuff in here, but you've also taken action on the stuff that we talk about. And I think at the end of the day, people ask, well, what makes a good client for CEO Finance Academy? It's someone who will show up, do the work. When they get stuck, they'll ask questions and just stick with it. And you've done such a great job of all that. And it's so fun to see now on the other side of things, where you've been able to take the business, not only from a financial standpoint, but now from a life standpoint, this being the main income source for you and creating that stability and consistency. It's so fun to watch from my side of the table. And just stinking proud of you, Elizabeth. You've done some amazing things. And it was so fun. We just wrapped up a monthly review for you. It was so fun to see the numbers and get to celebrate and setting aside money and paying down debt and doing all this fun stuff. You've just done such a great job with it. So great job on your end. Thank you for taking time today to give people an inside look at CEO Finance Academy.
Thanks, Alex.